All right, welcome back here to the Dogs of Racing Endurance. Glad to be back here running another hour and a half race here tonight. And got my good old buddy Steve in the booth with me here. Welcome, Steve. Glad to have you with me, bud.
Glad to be here, Rudy. Welcome, race fans. Last race we watched earlier today was pretty hot, so pay attention.
Yeah, this is going to be just as good, I think. We've got some of the same guys in here. A couple of new guys, Cobb being a new guy. Looks like we may have Kevin Smith in here, Albin Norberg, Itipsy Nitsua, Joe Alexandrowitz in here, a little guard dog. So we've got some new guys in here that did not race the last one. Looks like Kevin Binkley. So a lot of new faces. We'll try to get this, cover it the best we can here. Some of these names are a little on the edge for us to pronounce, but we'll do the best we can with them, guys. We were talking there a little bit ago, Steve, about Pogo Boy. Last racer, he drove the Skip Barber, and this time he's driving the Riley. So maybe he's seen the light on that. Maybe the Skip Barber just really kind of a slow car around this track. Not saying that's a bad thing, but you know, if he wants to run a little closer up to the front, maybe that's why he decided to try something with a little more speed, a little more agility. I don't know.
Yeah, looks like he must not be too bad of a driver because he's hopping in a different car and he's in the 6th position out of 8.
Yeah, that's pretty good for his class.
Boy, we've been watching a little bit of practice here. You could tell the guys are definitely practicing. I've seen a lot of people driving off into the old grass trying to turn those cars into lawnmowers. They didn't do too much of that during the race.
Yeah, I got news for them. They don't make good lawnmowers.
Maybe they should pick up Toro as a sponsor. Maybe that would help.
Brian Herring out here turning some pretty good laps. Right behind Evan there, our leader on the board at the moment here with the Riley. Evan definitely had the car to beat last race, and Brian finished 2.4 seconds behind him in that last race. So them two, just a kind of a little bit of a note, are running on the same setup for the Riley. So just a little note for the race fans there. They are using the same exact setup. Just their driving abilities are just a tick difference. And that's where it comes into play. But they both ran one heck of a race last race there, and it was great to watch them out here. A little bit of a cloudy day here today. This morning it was pretty nice. But we are at Lime Rock Park, and they are running the chicane. The chicane there just before the last turn, coming up on, well, it would be just before coming up on the front stretch. There is a chicane there to kind of slow them up a little bit.
Like we're going to be heading into qualifying now. Yep.
All right, qualifying beginning. You get 5 laps to qualify here, so gonna have to see how these guys do. What the heck Evan's doing there?
Hey, Steve. Hey, Rudy. What's up tonight?
Not much.
Yeah, I
ready to
just
get this.
watching Evan here run his qualifying lap.
Yeah, he was. I think he was trying to get the tires a little bit warmed up on that, because I noticed he was weaving back and forth on the backstretch, and hopefully that does help him. But
I'll find times to pop up here on my list.
Oh, he's off course. He's off course right to the chicane. It's not like him at all.
who, Evan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I don't. And you can't run off course for qualifying. You've got to stay off of that grass. We'll have one more lap here, or a couple more laps, excuse me. He might be just trying to get them tires warmed up, because getting some heat in those tires is very important. If you got cold tires, you're just going to slide all over the place. Looks like he's doing a lot better this time. I kind of look for him to get out there and start, right off the bat leading. And I think we're going to probably see him lead the most laps again. He led 101 laps in that race earlier today. So definitely the one out here to beat.
Yeah, he plays it smart. He gets out there, gets himself a good lead, and Ray can take it easy and concentrate on the road.
Yeah, hitting your marks here is going to be everything. You got to be smooth. You got to hit your marks like he was on the last race. He just was so smooth. Now we did see that.
And he's off the chicane again.
Oh, whoa!
Yep.
Get it in reverse.
Not sure if he might have made a setup change of some sort.
I don't know. He just may be trying to push it a little bit too hard. But he already got the pole position. He already got the pole position. I think he was just trying to better it.
He's trying to drift that corner.
But being smooth here is what it's all about, and all these turns that you're going to have to negotiate. And coming up on lap traffic, we've seen a lot of that in the race earlier today, how these guys were so respectful around one another. And the guys that were definitely laps down, giving the leaders plenty of room to get by them. And that's what it's going to be all about here today. And a lot of new guys, new faces out here. Hopefully we're going to see the same thing by them.
Taking a look back here at little guard dog. Looks like he's running 8th place in qualifying right now. Now we know what the LG stands for.
Yeah, little guard dog.
Go get me a drink of water.
All right, when I was kind of watching there, Pogo Boy, now he's qualified 6th so far. I was kind of watching him doing a great job out here. Like I said earlier today, ran the Skip Barber. Now he's in the Riley, so we might see a whole different race out of this guy. Eifling there coming around to take his lap He was another one. He did pretty good earlier today. Now, he ran the rough today, I believe. No. He ran O'Reilly. That's right. He's qualified 7th, but he is way off of the pace. He's about 4 seconds slower than Evan is up here in the top spot. But I think we're kind of getting it down here to where we've got coming down to the 3-minute mark left of qualifying here. So Joe Alexandrowitz takes it out across the grass coming off the chicane. I don't know if he is actually, I think he did turn, yes, he did turn in a qualifying lap. He will be in 12th. Chuck just beat him out here in the Skip Barber today.
Yep. Joe just losing it coming over that chicane, like most people do.
Lunamy in 4th. Looks like Binkley going to be 3rd. Smith 5th. Eifling in 7th. Dog in 8th. Norberg 9th. Yatsuba in 10th. I think we're going to see Evan and Brian get right out here. I think we're going to see a good battle to get this thing going here. And then I think we're going to see Evan maybe pull away a little bit for a while and then kind of start to relax a little bit. And they're going to have to start thinking about their very first pit stops. I don't know the pit window for them, but they seemed to go quite a long time on that last race until they needed fuel.
Yeah, they did go a long time. I wish I'd have looked down at my lap count to see what it was.
I think I did remember looking down. I think I remember seeing Evan come down pit road like on lap 68. Sticks in my mind.
Yep.
Hey, dog. We didn't know that was a little guard dog. We thought it was large dog.
Yeah, I noticed that. I just wanted to mention to you guys that 219 is actually Austin and 227 is Emmanuel. They come up backwards in the listings.
Where are you seeing that?
In the
okay. I see what you're saying. Oh, that's cool. Emmanuel. Okay. Yeah, because we thought it was O'Cobb Lunamy. Okay.
We were having fun with that one.
Yep.
Yes, we were.
Emmanuel and Austin. There you go.
I'll try to make a note here. I won't remember. Yes, I will, because it's backwards.
That's good to know. Thank you, dog.
Yeah, when new members that haven't responded to the first hello type message, they have their names backwards until they respond. It's a sneaky way of getting them to actually respond. Anyways, I'm going to go back in there.
Okay, bud. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck tonight.
Like we're gridding.
Yep.
All right, so let's run down the qualifying order here, Steve. Evan going to be starting on the pole there in the 223.
And in the 33 is Brian Herring.
Yep.
In number 2
Kevin,
spot.
Kevin Binkley in the number 1, going to be starting behind Evan in 4th.
In 4th is the 227 of Emmanuel Bacco.
Bacco, yeah. Like tobacco?
Yeah.
In fifth, the 221 of Kevin Smith. He's starting in fifth.
The sixth spot's the number 63 of Pogo Boy.
In seventh, the 36 of Jimmy Eifling.
And in the eighth position is the number 55 of Little Guard Dog.
All right. In the ninth position, the 220 of Albin Nordberg.
And in the 10th position is the number 865, Chuck.
All right. In the 11th spot, in the 219, going to be Austin Espedy.
I think that's it.
Espedy. Okay.
And in the 12th position is the 213 of Joe Alexandrowitz.
There you go. You got it.
My
Good
tongue
job.
is tied.
Alexandrowitz. Good job. All right. Rolling start here today, Steve. I noticed kind of unusual for a road course. Usually they do a standing start, but maybe they opted to do the rolling start. Not sure. Did they do the rolling start earlier today?
Yeah, they did. Yep. Oh. They didn't start from the pits like usual.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it's their way of kind of getting everybody moving, so you don't have that that accelerating mix-ups you get. Kind of maybe keep the aggression down a little.
All right. Pace car ducks off. Evan brings them to the line, and green flag is in the air. Here we go. Brian Herring going to stay right on the back bumper of him temporarily. We're going to have to watch them too to see if they start pulling away from the rest of the field.
Oh.
Going into turn 3 here, going to be Brian back just a few tenths of a second behind him, probably about 3 or 4 tenths.
It looks like Emmanuel got a little aggressive on the throttle there and drove right off the track. Oh.
He is definitely falling back just a little. We'll kind of keep this here up just to make sure. These guys, we got a couple into each other in the bus stop, or the chicane. Let me rephrase that.
It's Emmanuel.
Yep, Emmanuel Baco.
227.
They got together in the chicane. I'm trying to figure out who the other one was that got into it with them. I think it was Chuck. Because Chuck's got a lot of nose damage on that car now.
It was Chuck. I think he was checking up, trying to let him get by, and he should have waited till he got through that chicane there, but that's for sure.
So Chuck back to the 11th place. Yeah, he started 10th, and now he's back to 11th, and even the Skip Barbers are going by him. So that's that damage on the front of that car could be causing him some steering problems already. Haven't seen him make any attempt to come down pit road just yet.
Yeah, the front of that car looking pretty tore up right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Now
he's coming up on the
pits now.
Got Pogo Boy, he's in the pits.
No, Chuck's still out there. He's went by pit road.
Wow.
And he's still back here in 11th, way behind the Skip Barber car of Joe Alexandrowitz.
And Pogo Boy is taking it behind the wall.
Oh, man, already.
Yeah, I don't know why. It didn't look like he had a bunch of damage. Maybe he blew it up.
Let's go back here and take a look at this. Maybe he just wasn't comfortable with... if I can take a look at that. Because they just got done doing the start here. And it looked like he maybe only did 1 lap. Maybe he just wasn't comfortable in that car. Nah, he spun it. Oh, he spun it big time. Got it off in the dirt. Yeah. Well, I caught him spinning in turn 1, right on the start of the race, and he's trying to get this thing up to speed again. I'm gonna watch him here for another minute and see what he does. Maybe
Yeah, Pogo
Oh,
Boy
he's he's the one that Pogo Boy's the one that
smashed up the front end of.
Chuck
Yeah.
hit him. Yeah. Okay, that was what happened. All right. Now we know where Chuck got all the damage from. Hitting Pogo Boy. I don't think Pogo Boy had that much damage, though.
I couldn't get right down and go all the way around his vehicle, but from what I could see of it, I couldn't see any on what I would call the passenger side and the roof area.
It was mostly front end damage. He just kind of smashed in the front end. Must not have felt too bad to him because he drove right past the pits.
Well, Kevin Binkley now in second did get by Brian Herring, so Kevin Binkley rolls into second place and now sets his sight forward to Evan Melanson. Melanson. We'll call it Melanson. Binkley already, boy, he's putting the power to it now. He's about 1.9 seconds behind Evan, but I think he's starting to put a little pressure on him and close in on him. But Evan, just no match out there. Evan is just awesome driver at these road courses. He is really showing some power today. Earlier today, he just dominated that race, led 101 laps. Pretty impressive.
Got the Brian Herring right behind Kevin Binkley, and he keeps getting right up on the back of him. He wants to get by him pretty bad.
Yeah, I think, and it's early, they've only been racing about 6 minutes, so, we're already seeing these guys already battling each other for position. Main thing's going to be, the secret here today is going to be keeping that car clean. Don't hit the fences, the tires, don't hit anything, don't hit each other. Keep it clean in the whole race. And we've seen Evan do that earlier today. He lost it a few times in the grass, and I think he did touch a fence one time, but it wasn't that bad. We've seen a lot of pretty bad wrecks earlier today. Guys hitting the fences hard. And now Brian putting a lot of pressure. He dives it down to the inside, may have a run, and it looks like he is going to go into turn 1 here. Had a heck of a run to get by Binkley. And completes that pass. Wow. So Herring putting the power right down. He does not want to let Evan get out there too far. These cars are awesome to watch. They're a little different to drive, but they're awesome to watch. Sorry about that.
That's all right. All three of those leaders got right by the lead guy for the rough car there, which is the 220 of Albin Norberg. He looks like he's running a nice smooth race. He's kind of just following the line that's on the track there, and the guys are going by him real smooth.
Looking back here, Emmanuel back here in the 5th position, running in the Riley, doing a great job here, staying in 5th, already 21 seconds behind our leader, but not bad. Let's go back here and look at Little Guard Dog. That would be Dog. Running 35 seconds behind our leader, having a little bit of difficulty getting around here, I believe. Either that or he could be saving that equipment for later on in the race. He was another one that we were watching this morning or earlier today when they were racing. I believe he was in Skip Barber as well. Yeah, he was. Him and Pogo Boy were the only ones in the Skip Barber.
He was tough in it out. Oh, and he's
Oh,
around.
here he goes. He's spinning it around. He doesn't hit anything. All right.
All right, he's back on the road.
Good job. Well, he's got them tires hot now. He's going to have to probably kind of play it a little bit cool in the turns and get them things cooled off. But he's got Jimmy Eifling right up his tailpipe. Oh, no, that ain't Jimmy. Excuse me.
Yeah, right out of the way, though.
That would have been Brian Herring, so they already put him a lap down. So a little guard dog going a lap down already. That's how fast these guys are getting around here.
And Albin Norberg just spun out there just before the chicane and put his back end into the wall there, it looked like. Back it up here and get a better look at it if I can.
Must not hurt that thing too bad.
Yeah, I'll just scratch on it.
Oh yeah, he kind of got into the, he must have got into Austin there a little bit just before the chicane, and that spun him around.
Oh, driver door looks a little caved in.
Yeah. Well, when you hit them open wheel cars, you don't take a lot of damage, but they do. So I'm sure probably if we, yeah, Austin's on pit road now. And it looks like maybe he's taking his car behind pit road now. Austin out of the race?
Oh no.
Don't see him on the track. He took his car behind pit road.
Yep, must be.
And so Austin out of the race. I haven't seen him leave, but
I'll spend a couple of seconds here just stuck on Austin for you, and I'll tell you if he hits the pit.
Alexander out of the chicane got really loose and almost went right in front of, let's see, who was that?
Whoa, someone's off course there.
He almost spun it right in front of the little guard dog. Getting back up front here now, it looks like our third place guy, Kevin Bankley, has fallen back about 5.3 seconds. He was up there in second for a while, and Brian Herring got back by him. And now Brian checking out on the field up here and trying to keep up with Evan.
Yeah, Rudy, I just checked with the guys down in the pits there, and Austin's definitely checked out for the race. He put her behind the wall.
Yes, he did. Doggone it, that's 2 out of the race now.
Wow.
Pogo Boy out of the race as well. So we're down to 10 cars left on the track. Less lap traffic for the leaders. I know that's not a good way to say it, but
Yeah, the leader just went by the leader in the rough series part of the race here at Albert Norberg. He's still the leader of that class.
yeah, he's running really well. Chuck back here already 3 laps down. Got a lot of damage on that car. Has not pitted to get any of it fixed up. Must be driving okay. Joe Alexandrowitz still running his Skip Barber out here, showing him actually right now lead class. The only one that's running in his class right now. I think he's just kind of putzing around there, not really in a big hurry. Or
I think he's got a good shot at first place in his class.
obviously.
My money's on him.
All right, Emmanuel still running in 5th back here in 227. Coming up on Alexandrowitz, does make that pass on the outside. On the left side, I want to say outside, but you can't say that at road courses. You got to say right side or left side.
That's true. Excuse me.
All right, so getting back up here to the front now. Evan's starting to pull away from Brian Herring. Got about a 2.1 second lead on him right there at the moment. And Bankley now 8.9 seconds back in third spot. Makes a good clean pass on Alexandrowitz. I gotta say that fact. Alexandrowitz. Gotta say it fast. But that's a nice looking car. I like that Omega 1. Nice looking car.
Well, they're all
Brian
getting kind
Herring.
of spread out now, so
Yeah, definitely. Brian Herring's still trying to run down our leader, Evan there. Evan just not far ahead of him. Just about a half a straightaway ahead of him. Good run for these guys as now they come to the finish line here. Let's see where this scores them. 2.9 seconds behind our leader now. And so far, only 2 drivers have dropped out of the race. We have 10 drivers still in the race. Albin there he is running the rough and leading his class right now a couple of laps ahead of Chuck. As long as he can keep that thing straight and don't hit anything, he gives way to, looks like he gives way to Jimmy Eifling.
yeah, I think the damage on Chuck's rough there is starting to catch up to him there. He's really slowing down on his corners, especially when he has to turn right.
Yeah.
Looking down from his roll bar on the top of the hood of his car, it's just it looks pretty nasty.
Yeah, but it does. Let's I'm gonna take a ride along with him in the cockpit here and just kind of see how it looks for him. Looks maybe his steering wheel's actually pretty straight, so definitely did not knock the toe out or anything. It was more of a kind of a flat hit when he hit Pogo Boy right flat in the side. So, and it just kind of like a square hit. He seems to be doing okay.
Rough cars are pretty tough.
Yeah, they are.
Rough and tough.
Yeah, he seems to be doing all right.
Back up here with Evan going to the chicane, it looks getting a little squirrely going through there.
Oh, and he
he's around.
loses it. Oh, he taps the rear end. Oh, and he almost got hit. Whoa, that was some fancy driving right there. So Brian Herring takes over the lead here coming across the line. He is going to lead this lap. Evan makes a big mistake.
I think he might have got hit, Rudy. I see some damage there in his left rear.
He kind of went backwards into the tires there.
Is that what caused it?
Yeah, but I think the momentum he had kind of just bounced him right out of it. He didn't really take the impact real hard.
Oh, yeah, that's what got it.
He is driving that thing sideways through the turns to try to get caught back up to Brian Herring here.
The number 33 of Brian Herring did nail him right in the rear. I saw it on replay. They're hitting good. All that damage in that rear quarter is from Brian, so he should have some nose damage there, guys.
I'm not seeing any on Brian here. Let me take a look at it real close up. I don't see any damage on Brian Herring's car whatsoever.
No,
Done.
neither.
Wow, in the replay, he smucked him and did all that damage and did, man, but maybe a little net code there, huh?
Could have been. I think it was more kind of like almost a side hit, but Yeah, I'm looking over both sides of his car in the front, and I see no damage on him. But,
Wow.
let's go back here to Evan's car, and I see a lot of damage on the back of the car.
Yeah, he hit him good there. That damage right above the tire wasn't there until the 33 car went by him. He nipped that corner. I can't believe he doesn't have a scratch on the front. That is remarkable.
He is doing everything he can to reel in Brian Herring now. He is just driving the wheels off of that thing right now.
Oh, yeah.
Right up on the back bumper of Brian Herring, and Brian not giving him the lines at all. Doesn't want him to get by him at all. So he says, you want to pass me, you're going to pass me like everybody else is going to do. Coming up on the chicane now. This could be interesting because they got a rough right ahead of them, and that would be Chuck. Gonna have to deal with him. And Brian Herring used that in his play. Oh, and Evan almost loose again.
Evan better watch it. You know, the new tire model, he'll pry up those tires, and he'll have a real hard time if you don't kind of just smooth it out a little there.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's definitely he's got to have them tires superheated right now. And it just looks like Brian's out there just like on a Sunday cruise.
Yep.
It's Sunday.
It is Sunday. Yes, it is.
I think that's kind of how it was in the first race. Brian was running real smooth like that.
Well, Evan was running smooth there till the end when he started really putting the power down on that car because he knew Evan was closing in on him. And then that's when we seen Evan starting to use every bit of the real estate on this track to keep that thing ahead of Brian. These two here definitely ones to watch. Well, let's go back here and check on a few of the other guys. Alexandrowitz back here all by himself, the only one in his class. Still running the Skip Barber. Oh, he gets out of shape.
Pushed right off the road.
Dang.
Bulldogged.
Not sure if he got enough room on that pass. Let's take a look at this. Oh, he just, nobody touched anybody. He just was trying to give some room to the guys coming around him, that's all. He just went around.
Albin Norberg there in the rough, the leader of the rough series in this race, is just put his other person in the rough down, Chuck there. He just put him down a lap.
Yeah, another lap. So they're 2 laps separate. Chuck really struggling with that car. Got a lot of damage on it.
I can't believe how clean these guys are racing each other, all these different cars.
I know it. I mean, it looks like Chuck's even got more damage on that car, Steve, if you look at it from the front.
Yeah.
It just like he's got more damage on the passenger side of that thing.
Are you sure that ain't Russ driving that thing?
Yeah. Could be.
It is pretty, it does look like it's caved in a little more, but maybe we missed something there while we was up watching the guys in the front.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's climb inside and see if his steering wheel is still level.
And I don't know what happened here, but Evan way off of the pace back here. Let's take a look back here a lap or two. I'm going to wander back here a little ways and see. He must have really slipped up or spun it out or something. Okay. Coming through the chicane, he cut the course again. Spun it out. And that's what cost Evan right there. He had to stop because he cut the course.
Oh, I see
that cost him
through the chicane.
Yeah.
Go back one more lap, he's spinning through the chicane, so.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah. So now he's in the process of trying to reel Brian back in, and he's caught back up to him now, 6.9 seconds behind him. So
Yep.
great run by these guys. Brian Herring out here now coming up on the back of Chuck. Chuck giving him all kinds of room. Well, I've never seen such respectful drivers out here, guys. I'm telling you.
I think we should take a small clip of this race and show it to some of our people in our league there, Rudy.
And I think you're right.
They're all too scared to run this kind of stuff.
I
Well,
think
they-
I'd enjoy this myself.
They could do this on. They could do this on oval and be that respectful too.
Sure.
Well, Evan is definitely reeling Brian in because now he's up to 4.7 seconds behind him. So he is reeling him in big time. Evan Binkley back 10 seconds behind the leader. And Kevin Smith, we haven't talked about him all day. Here he is running 25 seconds behind the leader. Last one on the lead lap, running 4th in the Riley class. Manuel running 5th. Been running 5th pretty much all day long. Doing a good job. Eifling 6th. And Little Guard Dog running in 7th. Last one of his class right now being Pogo Boy. Took his car behind the pit wall. He just doesn't seem to be up to speed compared to the other Rileys. I'm not sure if he did, maybe didn't have a good setup or just being respectful, I guess, to the other drivers. Now he goes another lap down, so well, Guard Dog is 2 laps down.
He tends to drive a mixture of cars when other people don't. So he's not probably real fast in any particular car.
And he's just good at them all. He's just not fast in a particular one, yep.
Yeah.
Well, he came out of the Skip Barber last race, and now he's running the Riley, so a big change there. Now Evan up to 3.7 seconds behind Brian Herring. So those two still battling up here. Evan's trying to reel in our leader, Brian Herring, and he's catching him a couple of tenths here and there, but he's got a long ways to go here to reel him in.
Sure does.
Brian Herring just being so smooth. I've been watching him, and he is just so smooth on the racetrack. Maybe the one out here to beat today. Coming down to the hour mark. Guys have been running almost 30 minutes already, and putting on a great show out here. Only 10 of them left on the track.
I'm just kind of sitting here watching Albin Norberg run his race. I think we should get him in one of those prototype cars there. He's running a nice smooth race for the car he's driving.
He sure is, yeah.
Nice and smooth throttle, and he's not. I climbed in his cockpit and kind of rode around with him a little bit. He's just kind of just being really smooth.
He seems to be handling it. Even the wheel hopping there coming out of the chicane, he handled pretty well. Kept it straight. I would have probably been into the trees. The wheel hop on the cars I have noticed is really atrocious. If you try to get on the throttle just a little bit too quick, they do start wheel hopping. So something you got to kind of, throttle management is everything on road courses like this. It's everything. You got to, it's throttle and brake.
Looks like Alec Standowitz is in the pits there. I wonder if they limit the fuel in them in those Skip Barber cars. He's in there. He didn't have any damage, but he's in the pits.
I'm really not sure about them. I don't think they have that big of a fuel tank in them, but yeah, I don't know. He may be just kind of playing it safe because he's the only one in his class out there. He may as well stop, get new tires. He was struggling with some pretty loose conditions there as we were watching earlier.
Yeah, he's probably requesting a fresh Coke and a burger and fries and fill her up.
Yeah. All right, Manuel here running in 5th. Look like he's running a pretty smooth line. And He is, let's see, one lap down. First car lap down.
Boy, it sure must take an awful lot to get fuel in one of those Skip Barber cars. He's just rolling out of the pits. Joe's just rolling out of the pits now. Really, really super slow. Oh, he's waiting for the cars to go by. How's that for respect? Don't even get close to the track. He's letting them go by, and then he nails the gas.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Yep, that was really nice to see.
Those look like those would be a little bit of fun to drive. They're kind of a small Indy type car, open wheel, and not a lot of horsepower, but they look like they might be fun to drive. I'll have to check those out later. Roger that. All right, well, looks like Evan might be reeling in our leader here. Now 3.4 seconds behind him. And he is driving the wheels off that thing to catch up to Brian. There's just no doubt about that. Let's see what he gets here when he crosses the line, Steve.
You can bet the crew chief's probably in there giving him numbers every time he passes another segment on the track.
Yeah, he just clicked off another 0.4 of a second. Now he's up to 3 seconds, right behind our leader.
Yeah, catching the leader's one thing, but getting by him with that damage, that might not quite work like you think.
Yeah, you got to think about the aero push around them cars once you get up into traffic and stuff. It's, I'm sure it's all the things that's rolling through his brain right now. He's planning this up.
Yeah, he's probably going to try to do a pass, maybe, I don't know, maybe the chicane, or maybe with another lap car or something by. Oh, he's way off the track.
Way off.
Oh, he might lose it. Is he going to lose it?
Oh,
yes,
he
he
hit
hit
the
the wall.
guardrails. Oh, no. That could have just cost him the race right there.
Yep. Boy, those guys like to drive on that dirt. I'm surprised we don't see more of that, actually.
Looked like Evan spun it coming out of the last turn there, coming to this front stretch. And looked like he had it partially saved, and he wound up hitting the guardrails on the inside wall.
Oh, yeah, the front of that vehicle is really smashed.
Yeah.
If he doesn't overheat or have some trouble there, he'll be lucky.
He's got an awful lot of damage on that. He hit it hard.
Oh.
Let's see when they cross the line here, how far he's going to be back behind our leader. I think he's going to be about 15 seconds behind our leader.
Oh, yeah.
And losing ground. So that damage is definitely doing something to his car.
Yeah, he took some pretty good damage on the right front.
He's
the whole
losing
front.
The whole front, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there, Rudy. 15.161. Oh, you do that one right on the money.
Yep.
Hopefully his pit stop will be long enough they can get a little of that sheet metal straightened out and pick him up a little anyways.
Well, I would say we won't see him come down pit road probably until he needs fuel.
Yep.
Because he may have some required damage there, and that's just going to hold you in the pit longer. And these guys don't want to see that.
Nope.
Means they don't really have cautions here. This is just a road race. There's no stopping. So now he's back up to 13.6 seconds. So even though he's got all that damage, he is still wheeling that car around here and catching Brian in the process.
Wow. Remarkable.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Whoa.
Oh, he almost loses it again.
Yeah, they're only on lap 40, so if your memory served you right, he's got about at least 24 to 28 more laps before they'll need to pit.
Guys, I hate to say this, but Kevin Binkley is not far behind him, about 4.5 seconds behind him. And Kevin's car is clean as a whistle.
Yep, I can see him coming into the picture there now. Oh, yeah. Yep.
This is something that he's definitely going to have to kind of keep an eye on. I'm sure he's doing a little bit of mirror driving. Only 3 seconds behind Evan now. 2.5. Excuse me, 2.5 seconds. So these guys are going to have to watch. Evan now 17 seconds behind our leader, long ways, a lot of racing to catch up to him. But here we are, just a little under an hour left to complete this race. You're going to see a lot of laps here. Evan, like I said, Evan led 101 laps that last race, so he's only ran 41 right now. A lot of racing to go here.
Kind of got my eye on Joe Alexandritz here, and it looks like he's done a little something there. His spoiler there on the front's a little. Maybe he must have bounced that through the chicane a couple times and popped some cones there. He don't look so tidy in the front anymore there.
Yeah, that looks like that front splitter may be just about dragging the ground, and that can affect your steering. It can affect your downforce, everything. So I think he's probably really struggling with that car right now. Let's get back up here to Chuck. Chuck's one that we've been watching. He is still driving that Rushmobile around.
Wow.
Got a lot of damage on the front of that thing, and he's still doing good, though. Norberg, we watched him. He just seems to be flawless in that rough, running in the top spot of his class, in the rough class, 3 laps ahead of Chuck.
Nice and clean car, not a scratch on it. He'll pull into pits, get a little fuel, some tires, maybe a buff and polish on that hood so it gleams a little better, and he'll be on the road again when time comes.
Little guard dog here running in the tail end of his class, 3 laps down in the number 55. He is, let's see, he's actually quite a little ways behind Jimmy Eifling. Yeah, quite a little ways. About actually the whole front stretch behind him. So that's really like Kevin Smith. Now Kevin Smith, 4th in the Riley class, 42 seconds behind the leader, and I don't think he's all that far from being lapped. The leader ain't that far behind him. Yeah, the leader is actually right now going into turn 2, and looks like Kevin Smith is just going down the backstretch, coming into the chicane.
Yep.
So the leader not that far behind him. Now he's going through the chicane. So he's just a couple of seconds behind Kevin Smith to put him a lap down. And that's the 4th place car of Kevin Smith, the 221.
Yeah, and he might gain on him here, maybe in another lap or 2, because we got about 2 lap cars that are going to be slowing him down, so he'll have a chance to catch up to him.
Evan now falls back to 20 seconds behind our leader, Brian Herring. So he is definitely losing ground to Brian. So that damage has definitely done a toll on his car.
Yeah, I'll bet you those beat up fenders are scrubbing rubber right off them tires.
Yep. That was close. He almost lost it right there in the turn 2 or 1. Excuse me. I mean, he's still putting down some great laps, but nothing like he was. He's about 0.3 seconds off of his fastest lap already. So that's how much he's losing. Let's go up here to Brian. Brian is only a half a second off of his fastest lap. So Evan's losing about 2 seconds a lap now.
Yep, he just passed Jimmy Effling, who's in the 6th position right now.
All right, so watching here, Brian Herring, I'm kind of waiting to see where he is going to be in relation to Kevin Smith to put Kevin a lap down. Kevin just coming to the end of the front stretch, going into turn one, and Brian Herring just now going into the turn one. So only a couple of seconds behind him. That would be the fourth place car, Kevin Smith. And if he goes a lap down, that's only going to leave 3 of them on the lead lap.
Wow. Seems like they got a lot more laps than this last time before there was only 3 left on the lead lap. I wish I could remember, but it seemed like most of them stayed on the lead lap for quite a majority of the race.
Binkley now starting to reel in Evan. Evan up there 21 seconds behind the leader. Actually about 22, okay, technically. And Kevin about 25.4 seconds. So we're talking about 3.5 seconds behind second place there, Evan. And if he catch him, Binkley's got a nice clean car.
Sure does.
Hasn't hit anything. I haven't seen him go off the track or anything. Hasn't touched anybody, hit the wall, spun out, nothing. Running a nice clean race. And you know, if he can keep that car intact like that, possibly could see him on the podium before the end of this.
Sure thing, yeah. Once they make seems like they made one pit stop. Everybody made one pit stop last race, so if he gets in there and dials his fuel right, he can probably catch that leader.
Got a little bit of lap traffic he's dealing with there. It'll look like Alexandrowitz had to kind of pull over coming to the chicane and let him go by, and that was really respectful. I'll tell you what, old Joe, what a respectful driver he is. Man, he knows he's got a slower car than everybody else, and he just gives everybody that room out there. Pretty amazing. That's man, I'll tell you what, I know a lot of people can take some lessons off of some of these drivers out here, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, I think Evan kind of felt the pressure here, felt Kevin Binkley coming, and has stretched that lead out now to about 6 seconds over Binkley. Unless Binkley, he may have slipped up a little bit in the turn, and I didn't see it. A lot to cover on a road course race, ain't there, Crash?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a lot more than just an oval, you know. You've got cars spread out all around this 1.53 mile track is what this road course amounts to.
It's definitely making me want to do more of this kind of driving myself, though.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun. If you get a good car out here, myself personally, I haven't drove the rough out here, but I have drove the rough on a couple of the other road courses, and that thing handles so well.
Yeah, you know, and that's what these guys are looking for. I mean, they're building this league of drivers that's going to be awesome. I can see that now already.
Yeah. I think they're hand-picking these guys, and that's what it's going to take to have such an awesome league. That to run this multi-class league like this is really great, really great.
And I got to tell you, they run some really tough open practice sessions, because they put themselves amongst a bunch of people who really have no talent at all.
Yeah. And looking for people that do have talent, you know.
I mean, there's some fast guys out there that can drive these things, but they just don't have the common sense to back off when they need to.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of that here, which is great.
Evan coming across the line here has caught up to Brian by another second now, so he is back up to clicking off a second here and there. I think he had to get them tires cooled off a little bit after all that spinning and sliding and hitting the wall and everything. And now he's starting to mount a challenge here to get back up to Brian Herring, our leader.
I'd have
Brian
to
just-
shake off some of that scrap metal that was hanging off too.
Yeah. Lighten the load up a little bit. Brian Herring, man, oh man, he is just like on a rail and just so smooth. I cannot believe. Right now, I'm going to say he is the smoothest driver out here right now.
I think he's sizing up. Kevin Smith, nope, he's not sizing up no more. He's darting on the inside, going to take him, go by him. Or out going down his right side, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, you must be behind. Are you live or?
No, I'm not. There we go. That's better.
That helps to be live.
Replay. I was
That's
going back
okay.
to see if I could find where the where Kevin lost their. I don't want to say a name. Was it Kevin? No, it was. Yeah, I was looking for where Kevin might have lost that little bit of time, and I couldn't find it. Forgot to hit the play.
Well, little guard dog just kind of pulled over on the track there and let Evan go by, not to get in his way. So again, little guard dog goes another lap down, now showing him 4 laps down on the track.
All right, coming up on 45 minutes left there. You
Yep,
start to see some people start to lose concentration from here on out.
Yeah, they are at the halfway mark. And we may see some cars coming down pit road here, guys, before much longer, being they are at the halfway mark. I don't see we're going to see Evan come down pit road for a little bit yet.
Well,
we
got the Skip Barber car just went off course. Who was that?
Alexandrowitz.
Yep.
Yep, he is
Yeah,
not
he
on
is
the track
off in
anymore.
grass. I'm looking at the replay now.
Yep.
I don't know if he did a tow or what happened there, but he is no longer on the track.
Well, it looks like it might have been a little net code. I didn't see him actually touch, but it looks like his back end got pushed out, and wow, he's right into the wall of tires out there, the barrier wall.
Yep. He's pulling in his pits. They're gonna maybe get some fresh skins on that one.
See if I can see what kind of damage he's got here. Oh wow, the whole front of the car's gone. The only one in this class too.
Yeah, well, he'll still finish at the top of his class, but
If they let that piece of junk out on the track again, it's pretty tore up. The whole front end is gone. The rear spoiler looks like he's got some busted axles.
Man,
Oh
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
if you swerve around to the back side of it, the back spoiler is busted. I mean,
Yeah, it's all shuffled off to one side and smashed. Oh, wow.
ouch. That's too bad for him. I don't know if he'll be back out.
looks like that was some I don't know what the heck that was. Almost like he tried to turn the wheel to the left to correct that, and it just went left and went right into the tires.
It kind of struck me as a little bit of a neck code. Maybe it might have pushed him out, but it could have been overcorrecting too.
Yeah, because I've seen his wheel go to the left because the back end was kind of sliding around to the left. Oh, we got one on pit road now. Looks like Jimmy Eifling on pit road. First time I believe he's been on pit road today. Nope. Yeah, this first time. Yeah. First time any of these front 7 have been on pit road. Front 8. None of these guys have been on pit road. Now we got somebody else coming in on pit road here. Looks like a little guard dog on pit road.
Sure is.
So first time these guys have been on pit road.
They're probably
He's
all
away.
going to be pit now. I thought they still had another 10, 15 minutes out there. It'd be good, but...
Here we are,
I'm
coming
thinking
up
to
on
see
lap
Brian
60.
coming in now, then.
Yep. Yeah, it might not be much longer here. We're going to start seeing they are past the halfway mark. And I don't know. I don't think Brian wants to give up that lead, but he's going to have to hit pit road here before much longer. And Evan's 16 seconds behind him, 17 seconds behind him, has really cranked up the heat here.
I'm kind of just sticking with Evan right now, and I'll be letting you know when he peels off for the pits.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's waiting on Brian is what he's doing.
Looks like Kevin Smith on pit road right now. Be our fourth place guy here, first one lap down. Decides to come in and get his pit stop done.
Evan's off in the grass, trying to play Toro. Got her back on, didn't hit anything, but took a nice ride in the grass. That ought to lose him a few more seconds.
Kevin finishes his pit stop and he's away. It looked like a fuel-only pit stop to me.
That's crazy. So
Well, I don't know. He may have taken tires.
I'm expecting to see Brian coming.
Oh, little guard dog gets loose in the chicane, spins it around. I think he did tap the outside wall because he's got a little damage on that driver's front corner.
Yep.
So we're seeing some slip-ups and some little bumps and bangs. I think it's like you were saying, he's coming down pit road again.
And Evan Mellison, our number 2 man, just spun it around and smacked the wall.
I told you this would be the point where we start to see a break in concentration with Brian.
Yep.
The reason he's so smooth is because he does not lose that concentration.
Oh boy, did Evan ever. Oh man, coming around turn 1, before he got to turn 2, he was just a little bit too much power and did not have a grip on that. So I expect to see Evan coming down pit road here before much longer.
Oh yeah,
and he slides through the chicane. Yep. He slid right through the chicane.
He might have a flat tire.
That's highly possible. Yeah.
Oh, the back end of that thing is crooked.
I don't know if he wants to give up that track position to come down pit road. I'm sure there's going to be some required.
He's coming in. No, he wanted to come in.
Oh, man.
That thing's got to be handling horribly if he couldn't get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, he took a toe.
He left the
He
server.
left the race.
No.
Oh.
Well, that puts Kevin Binkley in second place now, 30 seconds behind Brian Herring.
Brian Herring pitting now.
Yep, on pit road for the first time. I mean, that's just what he needed right there. He knew that Evan was really putting the pressure on him, and that's just what he needed to see was Evan leaving the server, and then he could make his pit stop.
Yeah, because it would have taken Evan, to try to make another lap the way it looked like that car was driving.
Yeah,
he would have probably end up not any better off to stay out and try to get back in the next lap. Oh,
right.
That's too bad.
Yeah, really is. Binkley now our new leader. And Binkley, I haven't seen him come down pit road yet. We may see him coming down pit road now here soon because he knows that the leader did pit, but that's going to put him back a little bit because Herring is not far behind him.
Nope, not far at all.
He stopped, got his pit stop done, and got back out here and come out 3.5 seconds behind Binkley.
Wow.
That's that's pretty crazy, ain't it?
Yeah.
But Binkley not stopping yet. Oh, he's going to start feeling the pressure here from Herring because Herring's out there with new tires on, and he's going to start feeling the pressure here pretty quick.
About what you said earlier about him was proven true now.
Albin Norberg in the rough car there, he's hitting the pits, going to pick up some fresh skins and a little bit of fuel. Nope, he just drove through. He didn't stop.
Wow.
I didn't see anybody around the right wheel. Why did he do that? Let me back it up here. Maybe he missed his pit. Yeah, there wasn't anybody by him. Maybe he just didn't see his pit guy and drove by. Well, I'll stay on him and see if he stops next time around.
Oh, and Chuck way off of the course down in turn 1. He looked to me like he may have took that thing into the fence. Let's go back here and take a look at it here. No, just spun it. Looks like he might have been just driving a little bit too hard going into turn 1. Just went straight. Whoopsie. He's having a little bit of trouble getting that thing back rolling here. He was waiting for...
Albin Norberg is back in the pits. Let's see if he stops this time. Yep. Well. Yep, he must have missed his pit last time. Excuse me, Rudy.
Yep. Yeah, you're fine. It looks like he's taking 4 tires on that thing. They jacked it right up. 4 tires and fuel.
Oh, I know some of the words I say when I miss my pits, but we can't say them here.
Right.
I'm telling you, and I've done it. I think I did it twice once at Bristol Speedway. Pull in and like, where's my guy? Where's my guy? Oh, darn! Had to go back around. Oh, nothing more frustrating and make you want to smack your wheel with your fist.
Yeah, it looks like little guard dog's still on pit road. I don't know what's going on with that. Whether he had a lot of damage on that. He's saying about 5.5 minutes of repairs for that little bump. Wow. Well, they're beating and pounding on it, trying to get the dents out of that thing and hopefully get him back out here. But he's lost a position to Norberg. Norberg 2 laps ahead of him on the track right now.
Yeah, Rudy, I'm looking at his left front fender, and it looks like it's right on the rubber. They got to get that off there. He won't have a tire for maybe a lap.
Sure. Yep. All right, well, let's get back up here. Binkley's still in the lead, but I'm telling you what, Herring is 2.3 seconds behind him. So he is closing real quick, and Binkley is not pitted yet. I know he can't make it the whole race without pitting.
I wouldn't think so.
No, we're coming at 34 minutes left in this race.
Maybe a little strategy here. There's no way he probably could get Brown back to the front, but maybe if he makes Kevin or makes Brian drive a little hard, he'll toast up his tires and he'll get some freshies. He might be able to get a little closer to him than jumping right into pits early.
Well, that could be.
You know, make him a little hungry. He sees him right up there, and he might drive that 33 vehicle just a little harder to get him.
Herring now working over the bumper here of Norberg. All right, so good clean pass on his part, but that put him 4.2 seconds back now, Binkley. So he lost a ton of time right there. Lost about almost 1.5 seconds on him, but he's already starting to pick up a little bit of time now.
Yes, I never noticed. Are the rough cars the only one with operating brake lights, or does everybody on the road course have them? Just the rough? I'm trying
no, they all have them.
They all have them. Okay. I guess the rough, they're real easy to see. I just happened to catch Albin poking his brake pedal. I'm like, oh, hey, look. Oh yeah, they're nice. See them? They're really small on the prototype there.
Yep. So, pretty good race so far. I'm pretty impressed with how these guys are driving this, because man, I'm telling you what, they're putting on a great show here for the viewers, I am sure.
Chuck's still out there with that mangled front end, making his laps.
Now Brian's back up to 2.6 seconds behind our leader. So these guys are really running these cars pretty good, but they've still got to worry about Binkley still has not come down pit road, and again with only a 2.1 second lead. So Herring is reeling in our leader.
71 laps in and he hasn't hit the pit. It's got to make you wonder when he's gonna run out.
I don't know, but he just passed him up again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, he's still two seconds now. 2 seconds behind our leader, Kevin Binkley. Really starting to try to catch up to him, and I think we're going to start seeing either one. We're going to see Binkley make a mistake, feeling the pressure of Herring, or Binkley knows that his tires are old. He's going to have to think about pitting here pretty quick. And but Herring out there on a lot fresher tires.
I don't think tires. I mean, these guys have learned to drive with bad tires, but I know he's going to need fuel.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to have fuel. Now, right down to 1.4 seconds behind Binkley. He is reeling him in really quick here. All right, let's go back here and take a look at, looks like Ogo Boy back out on the track. No. I'm looking at the wrong one, sorry. Jimmy Eifling here running in fifth. Now looks like Emmanuel's up to fourth. He is running really well today. He's another one that's one of them consistent drivers. And look at this, guys, 1 second behind the leader. Brian Herring has reeled in Kevin Binkley to 1 second.
Wow.
Is he coming or what?
I'm some kind of surprised with the fresh tires that he didn't catch him a little quicker. Maybe he's just sizing him up, knowing where he's at. You know, he don't really have to pass him. Sooner or later, Kevin's got to hit the pits, I would think. You can't go an hour and a half even on a full tank.
No, I wouldn't think so. But Kevin not making any notion whatsoever to head toward pit road. 75 laps on them tires. Unless he knows something we don't.
Exactly. I was kind of thinking the same thing.
You need to check that rear spoiler and see if it's got gas in it or something. Pick the roll bars. But them two right there leading the race, and awesome job by both of them. Great racers. And we've seen Evan out there, but Evan got tangled up and wound up losing it. And he goes back right now is sitting in 7th place as they're running. And ain't going to be another lap, and he's going to be back to 8th place because it looks like Chuck's still out there running. I believe Chuck's still running. Yeah. He is going to pass up Evan here for that position. So Chuck will be in 7th with that junked up, rough looking rough.
The rushed up rough.
Yeah, rushed up rough. I hope Rush is watching.
He's probably watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's where I'm heading as soon as this is over.
Yeah, you probably ought to get there with just a little bit left of the game, I think.
All right, our leader's coming up on Chuck right now. It looks like Binkley gets by him. Chuck giving all kinds of room for the leaders to get by. Good job. Herring now down to 8 or 9 tenths of a second behind him. Still not making the move to get by him, but I think he just wants to stay right there because he knows he's going to have to pit. Binkley has not pitted yet.
Yep, that's got to be it, Rudy. He's come up close to the backup in many times and just never really seems to, well, unless he's going to make a liar out of me. Yeah, he's not. He just kind of just letting him stay in the lead, and because he, just like you said, he knows what's coming.
Well, this is the battle of the race right here, and this is for the, for the total win. The rest of them really they don't have anybody battling each other. Norberg running in 6th is 10 laps down, and Chuck, they're both in the rough, 15 laps down. And but Alexandrowitz is back out there running in 10th, and if he could pick up a few more positions here, he may pick up another position or two.
I can't believe he got that car fixed.
Yeah, well, it's not fixed very much, but enough to get out there and race. So the leader's coming up on him, and they get by him safely, so good job by them. He's got, I don't know if he'll be able to pick up another position or not. He's got quite a few laps to go to gain a position, because Dogg's off the track and Evans off the track. So what we've got going on up in the front here, half a second. Look at this, guys, a half a second between these two.
Wow. Yep.
And I think you're right. I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, he's just sizing him up, knowing that he's either going to run out of gas or hit the pits, one of the two.
Yeah, he's got to hit the pits here soon.
I think missing on Joe Alexandrowitz's vehicle's a little bit of racing tape there. Somebody needs to bring out some pretty blue duct tape and put a piece on there just to make him look like he belongs out there,
Herring passes Binkley there for the lead now, going down the front stretch. Yes, sir. So new leader out front, Brian Herring. And we're going to have to keep an eye on Binkley because he still has not pitted. Already he is 1.3 seconds behind Herring already. So Herring knows we're coming down to the 20-minute mark left of the race. And Herring's got to get out there if he wants to probably try to lead the most laps, which he has right now. He's led 42.
Pitting. Kevin Binkley's pitting.
Yep. Here he comes. Well, he's going to definitely welcome them new tires, I can assure you.
Oh, yeah. Let's see how quick he does this pit stop.
I'm sure he ain't going to take a full load of fuel. He'll probably take a partial load, but overshot his pits and had to back up just a little. You don't see any tires going on. Fuel only.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of told you the tires weren't a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the prototype, I don't think.
Well, he definitely was out there, on old tires and running just about the same laps as Brian Herring was, and Herring took new tires.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure the way those things handle, they're pretty conservative on tires.
Yeah. Well, he could have afforded to stay in there and take 4 tires. He's not gonna get passed by Kevin Smith. Kevin's a couple laps down, but it ain't gonna be long here, and Herring is gonna put Kevin a lap down. He's only 36 seconds behind our leader right now, which only puts him a few seconds ahead of him.
Looks like Brian Herring is making some distance now.
He's definitely the one to beat here today. We thought it was going to be Evan, Melanson, but he too loose and too crashed out to continue. Looks like Chuck's on pit road. Finally comes on pit road, and maybe to see if he can get some of that damage fixed up on that car. He sure does have enough of it, I'll tell you that. I don't know. I bet you there's a lot of required on that car. That's actually his third pit stop of the day. So Norberg's got a heck of a lot of damage on that car too. I don't know how he occurred all that. Aha, on lap 69. Gonna watch him here. Watch. Oh, he gets loose coming off of the turn. Hits the tires. Oh, he got loose coming off of turn 1 on his lap 69. Don't think it's going to let him have to come down pit road because it's yeah, I'm sure he's got enough damage there that he'd probably be on pit road for a while. Yep. Both them guys really running some smooth lines here. Binkley out there, same old tires. Aaron taking, I think he took 4 fresh ones. And boy, he is definitely on a rail now. Trying to take this thing to the end. We're under 20 minutes left of this race. Coming down to 19 minutes.
Well, Jimmy Epling is slowing way down coming out of the chicane, way almost to a stop. Wonder what that was from.
That's when they miss the entry and the
oh, yep, you're right.
Penalty.
You got to slow up.
Yep.
Yeah, you're better off like Evan was saying, just shoot right through it and stay out of everyone's way and serve your penalty right there on the other side.
All right, so but he's back up now and seems to be doing okay, running into 5th spot. Emmanuel has a lot of front nose damage on that car. I don't know what happened to that. I'm going to go back here and check and see if I can figure out what happened to him. He has a ton of damage on that car.
Oh yeah, he was tore up.
Okay, looks like on his lap 68. Watching him here and see where he gets loose.
I don't know, he's pretty twisted up.
Sure is. Oh, he caught the grass right there. Oh my. Wow, he caught the grass on his lap 68 on the backstretch and spun him right around. He went right into the tires.
Hey guys, I don't know if you noticed, 865 Chuck just did something. He had to tow into the pits.
Yeah, we already covered that. Yeah.
Sorry, I blew my engine, so I figured I'd pop in here and say hi.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, he'd been sitting on pit road for quite some time now. He's been on there like about 3 or 4 minutes.
Are we still talking about Chuck?
Yep.
Chuck, yeah.
Yeah, he had the whole front end of that one pretty rushed up.
Yep. Yeah, we knew it was going to eventually come down to where he was going to have to come down pit road, probably for fuel. and a lot of damage on that car. Not sure if most of it was required or what, but yeah, he's got a ton of damage on that car.
So
Yeah, I'm looking around. There's a lot of them that have damage on here. Emmanuel looks like his whole passenger side is ripped up.
Eifling doesn't have hardly any. Oh, and Emmanuel just loses it right in the chicane.
Yep.
And he's still sitting there waiting for, looks like he's waiting for our leader to come by. Boy, the respect. I'm telling you what, where did you find these guys at?
Definitely knowing the leaders behind him like that and just sitting there.
Yeah.
Very respectful thing to do.
I've never seen such respect on a racetrack. Honest to God, I never have.
It comes from making sure that, like most of the leagues, they just value the points position. But in my league, you can actually lose points for incidents. So let's say the event averages 10 incidents per driver, and you have 15 incidents. You actually lose 5 points off of your point standings if you have 15 incidents versus the 10. So it just that in itself builds up a bit more respect for the other drivers, because you know if you smuck up to something, you're going to lose points or potentially lose points.
Kevin Smith on pit road now. I believe that would be making his last pit stop of the day. Yeah, this is his second pit stop of the day. Been on there for quite a little bit, though.
He's kind of banged up, too. Yep.
Yeah, he may be getting a little bit of that damage fixed up. He's not really going to lose any positions or anything. So, you know, probably not a bad call on his part. He may have been out there having a little bit of difficulty steering that thing. So, best to get it fixed to be a little safer on the track.
Kevin Bakley's still 30 seconds behind the leader now. 36 seconds, sorry.
Brian Herring he was just on a rail.
I was just going to mention, Kevin Binkley and Brian Herring are both from the season 1, and they got a pretty good rivalry going on. Kevin's actually leading the league in safety with 706 corners per incident right now. Brian's up there with a good 250, so they're two of the safest drivers in our league right now.
I have no doubt in my mind, dog. Because I'll tell you what, both of them out here driving a pretty clean car. You know, very little damage on either of them. We've seen them both get into just a little rubbing incident, but nothing major. So yeah, this is pretty good. Well, let me take that back. We've seen Brian Herring got into a little rubber there, but I don't recall seeing Kevin Binkley get into anything.
Did you hear anything on the radio there, Dog, about was Evan mad when he left the server? Or?
I'm not too sure what happened with Evan there. Early on, he had a couple little upsets there, and just it wasn't working for them. But if I remember correctly, for him, he actually had to get up at like 2 in the morning to do this race, and it just might have just been sleep deprivation that was getting to him, and he decided, you know what, I'm just going to go to bed instead.
Well, he won the race there earlier today, and we've seen him make a lot of mistakes here this evening. You know, and like you said, could be just sleep deprivation. You know, when you're tired out, it's hard to turn good laps here and stay concentrated on what you're doing.
Yep, I can done experience there, Rudy. I pulled my vehicle into pits thinking I wouldn't be a good person to be out on the track.
Yes, sir.
I was tired.
Yeah, there's actually a surprisingly large amount of the guys in this league that will get up in the middle of the night to run these later races. Like, we got a couple Finnish guys. There's one guy from Italy that's looking at joining up here. There, like, lots of people in the UK where they got to work in the morning or they got school in the morning, and they're still getting up at 2, 3 in the morning, doing a 2-hour race or 2-hour session, and then going back to bed for an hour before going to work. I gotta commend them for their dedication.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Well, Binkley's still 36 seconds behind Herring as we're coming down to the 11-minute mark here shortly. Not too much racing left here, and I don't know if that's Binkley may have a little bit of a tough time making up that 36 seconds unless Herring really makes a mistake. I just don't foresee that happening, though. Kevin Smith still on pit road and has lost a position to Emmanuel. So Kevin Smith going back to the 4th place. If he's not careful, he's going to get passed up by Jimmy Eifling because Jimmy Eifling is only 1 lap behind him right now. All right, he's away. So good job by Kevin Smith. Gets back out there, and I think he kind of smelt that just a little bit. He said, you know, if I don't get this thing off the road here, I'm going to lose 1 more position. He's running 1 lap ahead of Jimmy Eifling right now. But boy, he is having some major problems driving this car. Kevin Smith not having. Yep. Takes it down across the grass here, and it looks like he's towing. So that's a shame. All right, well, Emmanuel running in 3rd spot. Got a pretty beat up car, but he has been keeping this thing up toward in the hunt here pretty much all day, running 5 laps down to our leaders. There's only 2 of them on lead lap. Brian Herring, of course, our leader, and Kevin Binkley, 36.7 seconds behind him. So, Dog, how do you get guys to join your league? Just by letting them run practice laps? Do you hand pick them? How do you do it?
When I first started off the league, anybody that wanted to join, when I first announced it, from guys that I was running with in lots of the official races, I mentioned that I was going to start it up, and a couple of guys came over from there, and then from there, every week that I'd have a new, because I have different vehicles running through the league every week, because the least used one gets punted out and the new vehicle gets brought in, I'd look into who's running in decent places and official races with that new vehicle, and just send them an invite. Say, hey, look, are you interested in trying out? And did that for about 5-6 weeks, and then from there on, it's been pretty much word of mouth. We haven't had any open practices, haven't had anything like that until this season. This season, we started off with doing open practices for this week alone, just this 1 week, and we've had 27 new members apply. So in this race alone, there's 6 people in this race alone that are all new membership that applied within this week.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, I'll tell you what, it looks like a great league. Again, not to keep repeating myself, but I've never seen so much respect by drivers in a race like this. This is really amazing. All right, coming down to 8 minutes here to finish this race up. Brian Herring leading the most laps so far, led 61 laps. Pretty much the most of the race. We had Evan had led 20, and Kevin Binkley led 17. So 3 leaders, 3 different leaders, and 3 lead changes. Yep. So very good driving by these guys. Yeah, we were watching Evan there. He got the chicane once and lost it, and he lost it again in another place and hit the tires. He lost it on the front stretch and hit the inside wall, inside pit wall there. And that's when I think he just said, the heck with it. My car's not handling good. But he was really, really trying to realign Brian Herring. I mean, he was really doing a great job of it. But he had that car sideways more than it was straight, I think.
Yeah, I think when he missed his pit, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. He just decided that was enough.
Yeah, he meant to come in pit, but it was almost like he misjudged where the pit road was or something. I don't know. Not really sure.
His car was handling pretty bad.
What I noticed in these road races, especially with the classifications where it groups you up into the separate classes, I've noticed like there's been times where I'm the first person in the server, and for the practice and the qualify, I'm the very first pit stall in the row. But then if I qualify badly, it'll move my pit stall all the way to the back. So when I go into my first pit in the race, I don't expect that, and I go right past it. So it moves your pit stalls around when you go from the into the actual race session.
Right. Well, he missed pit road entrance, is what we were talking.
Yeah, he missed a hole. I think his car wouldn't turn. He was really having a lot of struggle on the last curve before the pit entrance, and I think when he went to turn his wheel, the car just didn't turn.
And he missed the pit road entrance and went right out on the outside of the pit wall and hit. And he just left right there. He left the server.
If he'd have run another lap, he'd have been the highlight reel for this one.
Yes, sir. We are under 6 minutes, so coming down to it here. It won't be long. We'll be seeing the white flag. Brian Herring leading the most laps out here. Kevin Binkley in second. Still on the lead lap, but 38 seconds behind our leader now. Lost a lot of ground to our leader. Back in third, we've got Emmanuel. Still running with a beat-up car, but he's still running, having a good time out here racing. In fourth, Jimmy Eifling. That is how you say that, right? Eifling?
Yes.
Yeah, thought it was. Kevin Smith still sitting on pit road in fifth. In sixth place, we've got Albin Norberg.
Yeah, it's kind of sad with Albin there. He was trying to get into this morning's race, but because of the iRacing doing that random maintenance thing again, he got blocked out. And he's pretty sad. He wanted to run this morning and this evening. He's another one of the guys from across the pond here, and it's like right now it's probably getting close to 3-4 in the morning for him.
Yeah. He's been doing really good. We just seen him slip up there a little bit ago and hit the tires and did damage on the front of that car, and it's actually the first major damage he's had all day long. So, you know, he had a little tiny altercation there with somebody and had a little crinkle in the right front corner, but now he's got a lot more damage than that. All right, coming down to 4 minutes here, get this race finished up. He's struggling out here with that car. Good thing he's got it back out here, though. He is just, I think he's just turning laps now to turn laps because he's really out of contention. Nobody to battle with. 36 laps down. And there's no way he can gain any more positions. Roger. All right, up here on Brian Herring. We're going to try to stay on the leaders. He's going to be bringing it around. We'll keep an eye on Kevin Binkley, too. I'll just kind of keep you posted on where he's at. But he is still 38 seconds behind our leader. So those two definitely going to be first, second in this class. Norberg going to get the rough class. And Alexandrowitz is still out here running in 8th place with that Skip Barber. So he will definitely take up the Skip Barber class for the win. So good job by these guys. He's still out there beating that little thing around. I can't believe it. Like a glorified go-kart, I think. Norberg, Kevin Smith, nope. He may pop in though.
He doesn't even have TeamSpeak installed.
Oh. Well, we could talk with him on track. Well, no, can't now. Never mind.
The hour and 30 is past. So now we have, however that time deal works out.
Yeah, we've got 1 minute and 47 seconds here, but probably a couple more laps yet before they do get the white flag. At least another lap before they get the white flag. Yeah, it's kind of funny how they do that scoring thing, but runs the time down and it goes by where the drivers are on the track, and it's kind of funny how that works. But now Binkley back 40.2 seconds behind Herring. So Herring just on a rail out here today. Oh, he misses a chicane and takes it out into the grass. He's going to have to go slow. Serve that penalty. You have to slow down. Well, that was good news for Binkley, but not enough good news. Matter of fact, I don't think he gained not even a tenth on him.
I think Binkley got held up by something, or he went off track. I didn't notice it myself, but he didn't gain any time on that one.
Yep. Now Binkley coming up on the lap car of Norberg, passes him cleanly. Oh, and Norberg almost misses a chicane.
That chicane is actually where Kevin and I, or Binkley and I, almost had an altercation. I was coming in and I couldn't slow down fast enough, and he thought I was just going wide, but I just couldn't slow down, and he dodged in that chicane, and we almost smucked. I decided to take the wall instead, because he's leading, I'm a few laps down.
All right, back up here to our leaders as he comes across the line. Not sure if this is going to... Yes, sir, white flag is out. White flag. Norberg, one more lap around this facility to bring this home for the win here today. He has just ran an impeccable race today. I am just so impressed with the job that he has done. With that early on battle with him and Evan is taking damage and getting out of the race. It's kind of unfortunate for him, but the only really battle that he had was Kevin Binkley, but Kevin had to pit stop, had to make one pit stop to get some fuel, and that's just what Binkley wanted to see, or Mary wanted to see. Coming to the checkered line, it's going to be Brian Herring bringing it home here today for the Dogs of Endurance Racing. Great job by Brian Herring. We're going to get a word in with him in just a couple minutes. We'll let him do his little victory lap here and get cool down lap.
Oh, waiting for him to come in here. I really got to commend many of the guys in this league. They made this a very enjoyable experience. I've actually only been on iRacing for about 6 months, but I've been active in racing for quite a while, and these guys have made it a home for me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you got some great racers here. Well, let's get Brian down here and see if we can get a word in with him. Brian Herring, this is Rudy Cummings in the booth. You got a copy? Oops, got his mic muted. I can't.
Yeah, gonna do it right now.
Hey. Want me to poke him?
Nope, got it. Brian, this is Rudy in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Oh, great race out there today, brother. What a finish. You pulled away by... Wow, I think it was like 40 seconds you had over Kevin Binkley there for the finish. Tell us about your race today.
It was a good race. It was a long race. Evan was ridiculously fast the whole race. I don't know if you had been keeping up with it, but he, even with his car and the condition it was, he was still catching me. So the whole race, I was just pushing as hard as possible. And since my setup beat me earlier this morning, I decided I wanted to beat my setup this afternoon.
Well, you did a great job out there. Yeah, it was very unfortunate. We've seen Evan make a lot of just bad judgment calls, on some of the turns, and tried to make a turn down pit road. I don't know if he had steering issues or what went on there. kind of went through the chicane there once and spun. So we've seen him take a lot of damage on that car. And yeah, he was ridiculously fast, even though he had a lot of damage. But no match for you out there today, brother. You bring this thing home for the win. I bet you that just makes you just tickled to death, don't it?
It's nice. Sometimes slow and steady wins the race. Also, Michael, Kevin, who finished second overall, he completely cleaned the whole race. And the way we score points, more than likely he'll have more points for me coming out of this race too. He raced great. Everyone did, and everyone was very respectful out there. And yeah, I had a great time. And thank you very much for broadcasting us.
Well, we've seen you get into a little bit of an altercation there. I think it was with Alexandrowitz. I think you got into a little bit of a side bump there coming through the chicane one time. And I think that's the only damage you took all day.
Yeah, when Evan had his spin, I avoided him, but he actually saw that I hit him. I did get a 4X on that, even though on my side it appeared that I was completely clean. But other than that, I think I had one car that tried to cut back and forth in turn 2, turn 3. But yeah, I tried to keep it clean all day. Still, Kevin did a better job than I did, but I'm happy with it.
Well, great race. Good job by you out there today, Brian. Like you said, sometimes slow and steady you'll bring it home, and you proved that today. But I don't think you were slow. I think you had a good car. Just when you stopped and got those fresh tires, I'm sure that just made all the difference in the world. You know, it hooked you back up. I know it took a couple laps to get the heat build up back up in them, but great run today, Brian. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And thanks to Michael for setting up this league. I really appreciate it. And to all the guys who have actually showed up to race, because they are very fast. And I had to take a little bit of time this afternoon to catch up to their pace, and especially Evan's pace, who ultimately was still faster than me in qualifying and in race trim.
Roger that. All right. Well, we're going to get Kevin down here and get a word in with him. So thanks for talking with us there, Brian, and good race.
Thank you, sir, and have a good week.
Kevin Smith, this is Rudy Cummings in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Kevin, what a job. You if you wouldn't have had to stop for fuel, you probably could have won this race. But great race. Glad you come in second place. Congratulations. Are you there? Kevin? Not responding.
Not sure. I just saw him pop out of the session, so I'm not too sure what's going on there.
Grabbed Kevin Smith and Kevin Binkley as the number 2 person.
Oh. I'm sorry. My bad. But that's all right. We'll talk to Kevin Smith too. But yeah. Well, let's see if we can get, we got Albin Norbergen here. Let's get him down here and talk with him while Kevin figures out what's wrong with his. Albin Norberg, this is Rudy Cummings in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, great race out there today, brother. You got that rough hooked up and got a little damage on it, but you come home fifth, first in your class though. How's it make you feel?
Yeah, it wasn't that many cars out there today, unfortunately, in my class, but I mean, everybody did a pretty clean race. The passes was perfect. I did a minor mistake on a barber, but nothing too much, so a pretty clean race for my part.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of respect. We've been talking about this all day. The respect that all you drivers give each other out on the track. It's just amazing to see that. I know it wasn't that big of a field, but still, all in all, the different classes, some are a little bit slower than others, and everybody giving respect to everybody out there on the track. But congratulations, brother, coming home in your class, top spot. Great job. And tell us about how your race went for you today.
I mean, I was just trying to relax and take the lap after the lap. I mean, I had no one to compete against. Chuck was kind of slow. I think he did about 1 minute lap time. So I was just trying to chill down, let the faster cars pass and, just chill out. I did some mistakes, like in the first or second corner, and went out and hooked my bumper into the fence. But after that, I didn't do any mistakes. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did a great job out there today, Albin. It was great to see that rough. How did it feel out there to you driving that rough? Because it's kind of getting to be my favorite car for the road courses. It definitely has a lot more hookup than some of the other cars. But how did it feel for you today?
It felt perfect. It's a bit slidey on this track, but I was doing 55s, 56, 57s all race through, even though I had old tires, like 50 laps old tires, and yeah, I mean, I don't think it could be any better.
All right. Well, good job out there today, Albin. And you want to give a quick shout out to anybody? Anybody you think it might be watching the broadcast right now?
Yeah, I want to give shout out to the guy who does all this, Mr. Dog himself. He makes all this possible, and I also want to thank him for the setup. So yeah.
All right, Albin. Well, thanks and congratulations again, bringing home top spot in the rough class.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
man.
Well, the only other one that I think that we can get down here would be Joe, and maybe we'll see if we can get a word in with him. I see two Joes up there. Which one's him?
Pick the one without the cross in the name, I think.
If we can. Joe, are you there?
I am here.
Hey, congratulations, brother. Good race out there today. You know, you come home top spot in your class, so that's something to say. You had a lot of damage on that car, buddy. Tell us about your race.
My whole strategy was to go out and just survive the race, and then once the only other car in my class ended up quitting out, I was kind of make my laps and try to stay clean. That didn't end up going so well.
Well, you still brought it home. You know, you still turned laps there, even though the car was pretty beat up. We've seen it look like the front spoiler might have been pretty much almost dragging on the ground, and your rear spoiler was about half gone. So, but you kept it running and you know, bringing it home in the 8th spot overall, top in your class. It's a great race and good job to see you out there running so good. So, congratulations on your top spot.
Thank you.
And do you want to give a quick shout out to anybody or say hello to anybody?
Just thanks to you guys for broadcasting, and thanks to Mike for setting this all up. My first race with the league, and turned out to be a good one. So.
Absolutely. It looked like a lot of fun out there. We've seen a lot of drivers slipping and sliding, Evan having issues. Quite a few of the guys, even Dog himself had some problems there. And but great race overall, I think, by everybody. A lot of respect. How did you feel the respect went for you out there today?
It was good. I didn't have any problems with people bumping me or yelling at me to move out of the way, but I tried to stay out of everyone's way, and I think it went pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%, brother. Good job. And congratulations to you again, Joe. Thanks a lot for chatting with us, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, Dog, we got you in here. I know you kind of filled us in a little bit on your race, but let's let the viewers know what's up and coming for your league.
Well, next week we're running at Watkins Glen because the Legends that was actually supposed to be in this race but nobody wanted to actually drive is the only oval car that we were running in this race. It's going to be swapped out with the street stock for next on the Watkins Glen. So that's going to be another interesting car to try getting around the track. I've tried the street stock on Spa, and it actually ran really well once you get a setup that works for it. So we could try keeping it varied with introducing a different vehicle every week. Other than that, I'm really happy with the guys that are running here. The new guys, they're running well. I've seen them in the practices this week. They're really ambitious. There's a few of them that need a little bit of work with their safety because they're, like I mentioned earlier, most of the official races, your standings don't really count your safety, whereas in my league, as you get incidents, you get docked points for your end of season totals. So it's a little bit different than normal for that aspect of things. We also try to keep a varied amount of tracks, so like Watkins Glen gets used in a lot of the official series, but the exact layout that we're going to be using, I don't remember offhand what it is. I think it's a moto or something like that. All I know is we try using the least often used layouts on the track too, so it throws a little kink into everybody's regular routines.
Well, 10-4 on that. All right. Well, a lot of exciting things going on here. Doing a very good road course league. Looks like Michael has a very good thing going on here. You can probably message him on iRacing. Michael McCulloch, is that how you pronounce it? McCulloch?
Michelle McCullough, yeah.
Michelle? Why was I calling you Michael? I thought asked you that day if your name was Michael, and you said yeah.
I answered it both. It's
okay.
Michelle is French for Michael, so it's the exact same name, just wherever you're from. Most of the French guys or people who speak French catch the Michelle, but lots of other people call me Michael. I respond to both.
No, that's cool. That's cool. All right, let's run down the results real quick of this race here. Brian Herring coming in, the winner here today with the Riley. Kevin Binkley in second. Emmanuel coming in third. Jimmy Eifling in fourth. Albin Norberg finishing first in his class in the rough. Kevin Smith finishing sixth in the rough, finishing seventh. Joe Alexandrowitz in eighth. Evan Mallinson in ninth. Little guard dog running in the 10th spot. And we've got Austin, I'm going to try to pronounce his last name, in 11th, and Pogo Boy in 12th. So very good job by these guys out here. Good race, a lot of fun to watch. Congratulations to our winner here today, Brian Herring, and all our winners in all the different classes. So, congratulations to them, and good job by them. And we will see you tomorrow night for another broadcast here at MaxSpeedTV. Thanks for joining us.